Enyinnaya Abaribe and Autobiography. Like I'm online with them.
Suspect. My come now you're a boss suspect. Be hitting my maternity boxes. Get the county, my come 35 doctors. Or you may have the video offset. Surely no one mammy with the feeling of the Zozi. People who say blue that is 20. Second my bravo and Pesaka Bono. If you know how they call you says I want you. Or tell Fully my them one on the sunshine. Now, Miss again, I'm all I'm lunching. You better go camping. When I go to my baby something, send me the whole Charlie, too conscious.
Mr. Autry on the side.
Showers, go. Donzi. Donzi. You ain't never wanted to be friends. You ain't never wanted to be friends. You ain't never wanted to be friends.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Njenje speaking here. Welcome to Medinaba. We will be starting any moment from now. As you can see, we have dignitaries because all arrived. Bear with us because of COVID protocol. We will be starting shortly. This event is online on all social media handles. Some of you and most of you that follow the Senator on the Facebook handle, this event is live there and also on the Enyinnaya. That note, I will say thank you very much for joining us. We will be starting shortly.
You ain't never wanted to be friends. You ain't never wanted to be friends. You ain't never wanted to be friends. You ain't never wanted to be friends.
Chale bushit indike sani nunusi. Oh, shame the dog upon the mic again. Yeah. Chale munyami mami nkomeni. Families, now you picture me, yeah. Just to keep pressure, problems all behind me. So we go. Just keep your head up, give thanks to the most high, enjoy the pushing station. Your girlfriend left you with the BC, make it your body. Hallelujah, me mami coming. Cause life is too short to be right in trouble. Throw me as me in a month to check you.
Rough Town Records.
So once more, welcome everyone to this book launch today. Made in Aba. My name remains Mazi Tochukwu Ezoke. We will be starting now as we have the governors in our midst, and we have the Senate President here also in the hall. Obviously, with the COVID protocol, we are all observing the COVID protocol. Shortly, we will be starting in a couple of minutes. So again, I say I welcome you all, and I want to use the opportunity to also wish my elder brother, Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, a happy birthday. Today is his 66th birthday. You all know it is not easy, and especially in a system and a country like ours, to attain that great height and also to celebrate a 66th birthday. Nwannuku asimgi udodregi, happy birthday. Mazezo Kenegi, happy birthday. Thank you once more. So we feed back to the hall and see if we can kickstart the event proper. We will be kickstarting the event proper shortly. Join us as we do that quickly. Okay, we are waiting for the feedback in the hall to take over so that we can kickstart the event proper. Thank you very much. I am made to understand that we have His Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State, is already here. Mr. Peter Obi is already here, and the Senate President, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in the person of Dr. Lawan, is also here. And those joining us virtually, I can see a couple of names that I know, and many of you also know them. I see here the senator is in the hall. The senator is in the hall. Yes, we are getting back. We are getting back to start quickly. And I can see that we have also here that we also have Chief Mrs. Josephine Anini, President General Nkata Ndi Inyom Igbo, former Minister of Women Affairs, also joined us virtually.
We commit this ceremony into your able hands, that you take total control, and that you bless those who have made this occasion possible and those who have come to honor it, so that at the end of the day, all glory will return to you. All of this we ask through Christ our Lord.
So we have started, as I said before. So we move back to Abuja now.
Recognize the members of the high table. We're still expecting some of the dignitaries. First, I would like to recognize the presence of the chairman of today's book presentation, His Excellency Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State. Please, let's welcome with a round of applause. Whilst we expect the special guest of honor and the special guest, I would like to also recognize the presence of Professor Pat Utomi, founder, Center for Value in Leadership. He also wrote the foreword for this book. Please, you're welcome, sir. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Segun Adeniyi, the chairman, This Day editorial board, who will also be giving the book review for today. I would also like to recognize the presence of our convener for today's event, the distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, the minority leader of the State of Assembly, of the Senate, I beg your pardon, and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Flora, please welcome them here. I would also like to recognize the presence of Senator Ndoma Egba, Senator O.A. Osumba, Honorable Ndudi Elumelu, the House Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Mr. Nicholas Ogbonne, and Senator Yusuf A. Yusuf. Where I come from, it is said that Onye Wutaloji Wutalondo, he who brings scholar brings life. I would like to invite the most distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe to please present the kola nut to the chairman.
Hola, mamano. Ndabia, keleno. Nigeria, kweno. Buruburu wanile kwezuono. Omuna, aino na koji. Oji eji anubeke. Ahemre no ainchi demea lokwu ndeka anyị. Ọjị anyị zuru ezu. Anyị nwere ka anyị nwee ke ndekọ ọdọ. Nwee ose ọjị ndị ya. Ọ dịsị hụla dị nga. Anyị nwekwara mmiri Mbu Jean ndị ka anyị leje eji enye ọjị. Chairman, Governor Peter Obi, ọjị ga-anọla aka ndị ka anyị nso m gawa. Asị m meghachikọtala aha anya niile bụ ndị Nigeria nọ nga. Sila ogedere anya niile mala aha Jizọs. Nwanne m nwoke Peter. N'otu ị ga-eji eme ọjị ga-eme. Ndị onye nga anyị bịa vụrụ ọjị vi ya chairman. Anyị ga-ekwu ụzọ kwuo na ya.
Biko ọjị eze ga-adị eze n'aka.
Ọkwa na enwere anyị ga-enwe app maka ọjị so that a na-enye ọjị ya ọ na-aba gị niile. Yusuf a na-aghọta ihe anyị na-ekwu. Ụgbane a na-aghọta ihe anyị na-ekwu. Osumbo a na-aghọta ihe anyị na-ekwu. ụmụnna ebe ọ na-alọrọ m n'aka donye ma biko bịa ka ị gọziere anyị ọjị na ndị ụlọ anyị si na ọ dịghị mma ka okwe mmadụ nọrọ ewu amụọla nli enyi ngwa bịa raụnd gaa nyedo onye ma ọjị nyekwa ya
Well, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Igbo kwenu, Nigeria kwenu, ụwa gburugburu kwezuonu. Anyị anabatala ọjị ọka anyị tinye ya n'aka ndị ichie anyị. Onye nwe anyị ọbasi dị n'elu, Chukwu abịama, anyị na-ekele gị na idutere anyị dum ebe a n'udo. Anyị bịara, ihe anyị bịara ọ ihe ọma, ịnọnyere nwanne anyị nwoke. Akwụkwọ o dere anyị na-ewepụta. Onye nwe anyị na-arịọ gị, ihe ọbụla anyị ga-eme taa ka ọ bụrụ nke ga-aga n'ihu, ka ọ gaa nke ọma n'aha Jizọs. Onye nwe anyị na-arịọ gị maka obodo anyị, akwụkwọ a ọkwa maka obodo anyị. Obodo anyị otu o siri dị ugbu a adịghị mma. Onye nwe anyị na-arịọ gị biko ebe ọbụla anyị mejọrọ, ihe ọbụla anyị mejọrọ, gbaghara anyị, leba anya n'ala anyị ka ụmụ gị ṅụrịkwa ọzọ n'aha Jizọs. Ọjị a na-ata ya, onye ọbụla taa ya ka ọ tata udo, tata ihu ọma na ihe ọma n'aha Jizọs. Ndewonu.
onye ma jidezie aka ọjị gị ka m bịa gaa ije ọjị. Ụmụnna awacha ọjị enyenụ ndị wara ya. Chairman, werenụ nke gị. Prof Utomi, ị ga-ewekwa nke gị. Ịma sị na enye gị nwa. Udo. Enyi bịa, ị ga-esi ebe eri bịa buru ọjị a. Chekwa ka m na-esi egwu. Then ga-eburu gaa n'ala, gaa nye mmadụ niile.
Would you have the app? There's an app that translates directly.
Shinisheba, the House Minority Leader. Ndo de la roga gwa speaker, si abiko. Nele kwa ọjị. Toby, ọ dị ka ị ga-ewe abụọ. Because ndo dị were otu. Olekwara nke unu ga-enye speaker munu garuo. All right. And Mama. Come, I think they should bring your name. There is this here.
Where's my...
Give me the file.
His Royal Highness.
Is the one. Chairman. Quickly.
Yeah, you can.
Quickly.
Sorry. Whilst the caller is still taking its rounds, I would like to recognize the presence of His Excellency Theodore Oji Ochendo, the former governor of Abia State. Please, can we give him a round of applause? I would also like to recognize the presence of His Excellency, Right Honorable Sir Emeka Ihedioha, former governor of Imo State. I would like to recognize the presence of His Royal Highness, Eze J.O. Ananuba. I would also like to recognize the presence of Eze Wabeke, the chairman, Abia State Traditional Rulers Council. I would like to recognize the presence of Barrister R. Nji, Honorable Ekwem, and most distinguished Senator Aduda. I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Uzoma Abonta of Ukwa East West Federal Constituency House of Representatives. I would also like to recognize the presence of Honorable Solomon Apulono, Majority Leader, Abia State House of Assembly. I would like to recognize the presence of Dr. Oji Ogbonnaya Oji, Executive Secretary, NAITI. I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Thomas Nkoro, Honorable Paul Taribo, Engineer Enyinnaya Abaribe, Senator Sandy Ono, Senator Nicholas Yahaya Ugbani. I would also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Osita Okechukwu, the DG Voice of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you once again to this book launch. We are here today to present to Nigeria and the world an autobiography with the title, Made in Aba, Life of Coincidences. While Made in Aba is about the man, distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, the minority leader of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there is a need to establish some facts about the city where he comes from, Aba. The ever-bubbling city of Aba is associated with a lot of history. While it is well known for its commercial exploits and entrepreneurial ingenuity, it is also a town of some legendary originalities. It was in Aba that women stood up against unjust taxation and oppression against women. I am referring to the famous Aba Women's Riot of 1929. It is that singular act that redefined indirect rule and colonial administration in Nigeria. Since then, Aba has proudly produced sons and daughters that are daring, resilient, and incapable of being cajoled into accepting what they do not believe in. It is this blood that runs in Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe that detests injustice, oppression, double standard, and lack of forthrightness in whatever shape or form. Most distinguished Abaribe has always stood out, even if he is alone on that lane of forthrightness. In his desire to bring about change and progress to society, he has tended to cross certain imaginary evil lines. He is wired to firmly stand against injustice against himself and against humanity. Like I remarked, he is a man that will stand alone in his fight for justice rather than going with the crowd. As a child, he said he would want to be a big man when he grew up. We are here today to present the big man, the Wadiohama Ngwa, that represents Abia South in the upper chamber of the Nigeria's National Assembly. Please do join me as I welcome Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe to give his welcome address.
Let me say welcome to all my friends, colleagues, and all the people that I've known all these 66 years. And I'm sure I will know a lot more as we continue with this journey. Thank you for coming. At the point at which we started writing this book, all I needed was a little push. And I found that I would start and stop, until I got an editor who pushed me to make sure that the book was completed. Let me first apologize, because I know that COVID rules has made the sitting arrangement here a little difficult for some of our people. There are so many people down there who ought to be on the high table. But because they've told us that we can't have more than 6 to 7 people over there, so I want to please apologize to my good friends and all the big men in this hall that please take us as you see us. Now to the book. Every man's life is a series of events which you can liken to chapters in a book. And the chapters continue being written as you go on. So I'm now 66 today, and I wanted to put down all the things that happened till I became about 42 to 43. So, so many of the things that have happened for the past 15 years or so, I haven't put them down. So I got another book coming, and I look forward to that one, assuming you read this one and ask for the updated edition. Secondly, I try to say that a few things that we have forgotten And I put it down in this book. One, why is it that we had a better life? We had pipe-borne water. We had electricity 24 hours in the 60s. And now it is 50 years, 60 years later, and every person has to have a borehole in his house. So he becomes his own NEPA, generating power for himself, becomes his own water board, bring himself. And why would life be like this? I try to capture part of the reasons why we are where we are today. Thirdly, I also try to capture that there was a Nigeria where it said in our former anthem that though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And I listed out that the first part of my career as an academic, I was interviewed and employed in Edo State. Nobody asked me where I came from. They just took it on merit. When I went to work in SUA, nobody also asked me where I came from. In fact, it was a man from the Southwest called the Faturoti who made sure that we were employed. At the time that I was promoted, it was a man from Sapele who also made sure that he promoted me above and just on merit, which means that what we have done is that we have a big Nigeria that has continually regressed and regressed, and now all of us are into our ethnic enclaves. And if you don't go to your ethnic enclave, you won't be able to survive in Nigeria today. So I was also looking at the possibilities of Nigeria that we may have, assuming each and every one of us is committed to the country. And of course, finally, I tried to put out one thing. I think that if you're not well brought up at home, there is nothing you can do when you're outside. You're not going to learn it from outside. And in one of the memorable quotes that is in the book, which is also in that cake there, is remember the son of who you are. In other words, you can take it both ways. It can be an admonition. It can also be praise. If you're doing well, people will say, of course, we know the son, we know the father, therefore we know he will be this. But if you're not doing so well, the question will also be, whose son is that? So in both sides, it's very necessary for us to know our roots, know where we came from, and know the underpinning that has brought each and every one of us to where we are. So I will commend you to take a look at a story of an ordinary person, a small boy, whose only dream was to be a big man. And today, he is part of Nigeria. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, most distinguished. I would like to recognize some presence here. The presence of Mazi Godson Azu, the Vice President of Abia State Indigenes in Diaspora, UK and Ireland. I would also like to recognize the presence of Senator Umar I. Sauri, National Secretary, PDP, representing the National Chairman. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Honorable Toby Okechukwu, the Deputy Minority Leader, House of Rep, representing the Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. I would like to recognize Architect Benson Ezem, Chief Ihani Chinasa Franklin, Colonel Austin Akobundu, Organizing Secretary, PDP. One of the striking stories in the book that I read of Made in Aba, Life in Coincidences, or the story of the shoes that most distinguished bought with his first salary. I'm not going to share the story with you, but I would like you to buy the book and read about the story because for those of us that have children, it would help us to teach our children how to live and how to make impact in the society without spending their money just like that. Without further ado, I would like to invite the chairman, His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, to come and give his welcome address as well. Opening remark.
Both of them together. Your Excellencies, distinguished National Assembly, honorable members of National Assembly, the big man that we all gathered here, mine is a very simple one, is to welcome all of you that are here, and I'll say good day to you all. I'm actually here in what I consider a dual capacity. One is as a representative of the PDP national leader, the Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and then in my own capacity as the chairman. I'm even, in both cases, I'm honored, but even more deeply honored because of the personality involved that brought all of us here today, the big man, Enyinnaya Abaribe. Enyinnaya Abaribe represents what a legislator should be globally: a lawmaker, a law defender, and always he exemplifies what we should be in public office. Always having the courage to speak against injustice, falsehood, marginalization, and most importantly, speaking truth to power, which is very difficult, especially in our dear country, where doing so could be seen as an offense, a grave offense. I know that myself, because I know what I go through whenever you speak or give interview, whenever you speak in public or do any some of an interview, you will see people asking you, where did you get this figure? How did you arrive at this figure? How did you come about this? It even happened to me just this morning, not yesterday, just this morning, because I saw where MBS said that if you have 137,430 naira, you live above poverty. I said we can't have our own standard that is different from the global standard. The global standard said what you need every day is $1.90. If you translate it to the real market, which I call it's almost 10,000 naira a day. But our own is 300 and something naira a day. I said it won't work. Our standard won't be different. So I know what the Enyinnaya Abaribe goes through. And I encourage him and all of us to continue. I look forward to reading this wonderful book. I'm sure Made in Aba will be, for me in particular, I want to be a big man. So I will learn a lot from the book on how to be a big man. And also learn some tricks about how to manage persecution whenever you speak truth to power. Once again, you're most welcome, and I'm sure God will grant us a very successful event. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
So we've just finished
National
listening
Organizing
to
Secretary, Dr. Onye
the former governor of
Adiuko,
Anambra State,
Air Vice Marshal Christian Chukwu, and Kola Olobodiyan, the PDP National Secretary, National Publicity Secretary. So it is time for us to take some of our goodwill messages. I would like to invite His Excellency Theodore Orji Ochendu, the former governor of Abia State, to give us a goodwill message.
Your Excellencies, distinguished senators, honorable members, and very distinguished people that are here. I'd also like to recognize your Royal Majesties that have come from my state. Leaving Abia and coming here is not easy. You're all welcome. It is a pleasure to be present here today to witness what my junior brother is doing. He has written his life history, which is not easy. If you think it is easy, take pen and paper and give yourself a topic on essay and know how long it will take you to start and conclude. So what he has done is appreciated by me and by all. The purpose of this book is one. Let us know who distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe is, what he was before until he became the minority leader in the Senate. He has said that. Secondly, what I'll take away from here is when I leave here, I know that I must have, after reading that book, taken some tutorials on how to be or not to be a deputy governor. Yes, of course, it's an important aspect of his life because I was there with him in government house when everything happened. And I know he will not miss that aspect. Please try and take time to read this because it will guide you in life. Assuming you are aspiring to be a deputy governor or somebody becomes a governor and picks you as his deputy. After reading that book, you will know how to meander. On that note, I want to honestly thank my junior brother for what he has done. The chairman of the occasion has come here and told you about him. I know that, and he is exhibiting that. It's not what we are coming here to say, but the important one is this one that I have told you. Please, keep it up, distinguished senator and minority leader. Thank you, and God bless every person. I don't know, say nothing.
Please hold on. Hold on, I have too much paper with me. Hold on. Whilst the goodwill message was going in, the special guest for today's event walked in. I would like to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu, Governor of Abia State. Please let's welcome him. I would also like to recognize Honorable Uzoma Abonta, representing Ukwa East, West of the Federal Constituency. I would like to recognize Honorable Razak Atunwa, representing the former Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki. We shall continue with the goodwill messages, and I would like to invite His Excellency, Right Honorable Sir Emeka Ihedioha, former Governor of Imo State, to give us a goodwill message.
Excellencies, the special guest of honor, Mr. Chairman, the author, and your dear wife, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Well, the very compelling Ochendo had told us that he had said the most important thing. He said that what he said is the most important thing you take out of the book. So apparently, my responsibility will be to say, on Ochendo's position, I stand. But I want to commend Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe for having the courage, as usual, to put pen on paper, to articulate his ideas, to articulate what he's gone through in life in his book. Senator Abaribe is a bold and very courageous man. He represents every inch an Igbo man. And so for our climb, we as Igbos are very proud to have Senator Abaribe as one of us. So to having been when men of timber and caliber are walking, you cannot but pause for a while. Having been part and parcel of National Assembly for 12 years, I want to say that the shoes we left behind, Senator Abaribe, you've done very well to always keep the National Assembly in positive light. We pray that many more of you will continue to represent us effectively. And for the book you've done, I have not had the privilege to read it. I will read the book, I will digest it, and I'm very certain I will have a few things to pick from there. But let me, on this note, urge all of us, including myself, to also find time and have the courage to put things on paper for the generations that will come after us. On this note, I say congratulations, and may God bless all of you. Thank you.
We have some more dignitaries to recognize. I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, Lagos East Senatorial District. I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Boroface Ajayi, the Deputy Majority Leader, also representing the Senate President. I would like to invite him to the high table. I would like to recognize the presence of Right Honorable Chinedu Oji, Speaker, Abia State House of Assembly. I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Munachim Alozie, Senator Ben Obi Ojele Igbo, Senator Ojele Igbo, Senator Tokunbo Abiru, Barrister Chibuzo Ekwokwo, Honorable Oba Abraham, Honorable Obinna Ichita, Aba South Constituency, Abia State House of Assembly. I would especially like to recognize the presence of Senator Pius Ayim, former Secretary of the Federal Government of Nigeria, and former Speaker, former Senate President. You're confusing me. People should be writing this thing well now. We would go further in the book, in the Goodwill messages. I would like to invite Right Honorable Chinedu Orji, Speaker of the Abia State House of Assembly, to please give his Goodwill message.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Ukeze Baz, Your Excellency, the former Senate President, Chief Pius Anyim, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic, not forgetting my dear father, Senator T.A. Ochendo. The Minority Leader of the Federal House of Representatives, National Organizing Secretary of the party, the leader and members, principal officers of the Abia State House of Assembly, traditional rulers, distinguished guests. Please permit me to stand on already existing protocols. The event we are witnessing today is as a result of the hard work and tenacity of a distinguished son of Abia State, who happens to be the minority leader of the Senate. Like the previous speakers have said, he has taken his time to enumerate all that he's passed through in his political journey that has brought him to this enviable height that he is currently occupying. I want to say that the people of the state, we are proud of him to have him as one of our own, and the good relationship that he's having with his colleague that has made it possible for us to see a whole lot of distinguished senators present here, whom ordinarily we will not have the privilege of meeting, if not for this occasion. I want to thank every invited person and to say that we will continue to wish the minority leader and a ranking senator of the Federal Republic, Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, wish him well in his journey as a politician. Even though he's not made the book available to us, we don't know the content of the book, but we sure know that whatever that comes out from his table will not only be insightful, but controversial as usual. We know that he will do the needful in presenting the facts as it is, being a very intelligent and erudite scholar come politician. So on behalf of the leader of the House of Assembly and members of the Abia State House of Assembly, we wish him well and say that we will make our kind donation in cash and in kind, but not publicly, because this is Abuja. And we cannot compete in Abuja. We can only compete in Abia, but not in Abuja. But we want to assure him that it will be something that will be reasonable and something that will make him happy. On that note, I want to thank him for doing this, and may God continue to bless him in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Victor Ndomaegba, the former Senate leader. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Enyinnaya Abaribe. Moving forward with the Goodwill messages, we're going to be receiving a Goodwill message virtually from Iyom Josephine Aneni, President General Nkatandi Iyom Igbo, and former Minister of Women Affairs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, members of the National Assembly, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, Mma Agha Ndị Igbo, and Mrs. Abaribe, virtuous woman of God, I greet and honor both of you. We at Nkatandi Iyom Igbo extend our warm congratulations to you on your book presentation made in Aba. As an autobiography, we believe that the title of the book is not just for the fun of those 3 words, made in Aba. It carries with it the pride of our heritage and by extension, Nigeria's heritage. Aba is significant to Ndi Igbo for many obvious reasons. It is the hub of Igbo industrialization and industry. For us, Ndi Iyom Igbo, Aba evokes strong patriotic emotions for all of us, as that city stands in history as the beacon of female activism and leadership that culminated in the Aba Women War in 1929. A very profound historical event of the century that is today an inspiration to us women, especially at Nkata Ndi Iyom Igbo. While we congratulate you, we wish to remind Ndi Igbo that we at Nkata are ready to partner with our men for good leadership and development of Ala Igbo, as we stand on the historical significance of those Aba women who sacrificed their lives for the progress of not only Ala Igbo, but Nigeria as a whole. We are determined as women to stand up to be counted in the development agenda that will be as inclusive as it is historically rooted in the Igwebike spirit of Ndi Igbo, in ways that can revive those industries that made Aba tick and provide employment for us and our youths. Today, Made in Aba has a deeper commercial relevance of patriotism and beauty than the past denigrated allusion to product inferiority by detractors. We at Nkata wish again to congratulate you for being proud of your heritage, our heritage, enough to own those 3 words that could mean different things to different people. To us, Aba is home, and we as women are very proud of both the town and its people, and that you, Enyinnaya, Mma Agha Ndị Igbo, Eziokwu bụ Ndụ, you have proudly represented Aba globally. We are very proud of you. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless Aba.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Dan Okeke, Group ED, Hairs Holding Limited, representing Mr. Tony Elumelu, Chairman, UBA PLC. I would like to recognize the presence of Hajia Waziri Maria, National Women Leader, PDP. I would like to invite Senator Pius Ayim to please give his goodwill message.
Our very distinguished chairman of the occasion, His Excellency, former Governor of Anambra State, Governor Peter Obi, the Governor of Abia State, my friend and my brother, His Excellency Governor Okeze Bazo, the representative of the Senate President, distinguished Senator Boniface, the former Deputy Governor of Abia State, the distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and now the distinguished minority leader of the Senate, but more importantly for this occasion, the man of the moment and his wife, distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe. Well, this COVID has made everybody a masquerade. And you need a lot of energy, a lot of effort to recognize people when they are fully masked. But I know I can see our leader, the former governor of Abia State, Ochendo Global. The former governor of Edo State, Senator Professor Seremi Osimbo, the former majority leader of the Senate, my brother, distinguished Senator Ndomeba, the former governor of Imo State, Your Excellency Chief Emeka Ihedioha. If I can see Ojelibo, I can recognize him, but sincerely, with the mask, it's difficult to identify the very distinguished dignitaries here present. I am sure I would have been mistaken not to have recognized the philosopher of our time, our own brother, Professor well, you know, when you have a big Iroko in the house, at times, if you can't call his name, call his attention. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me sincerely apologize for coming late. For me, this event was very, very, very important to me. I have always believed that people should tell their stories by themselves. If you don't tell your story by yourself, by the time other people will tell your story for you, you will not recognize yourself. So I think it's on the right path that distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe and the family decided to tell his story by himself. Okay, I salute you. Let me say that before I started coming, I saw a social media platform where they say that you should describe Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe in one word. And I was tempted to simply respond to that and I responded quickly. He is a colossus. I don't know how else to describe a man of many parts. And that was why when I was trying to recognize him, I did take our minds back to where he started. I got to know him first and foremost as a deputy governor in Abia State. And while a deputy governor in Abia State, he was a strong deputy governor. The speaker said that when the book is read, the book must be controversial. I think the controversy the speaker is talking about started in his days as the deputy governor of Abia State. But I think also I need to say that a public life without controversy is not complete. There must be something, there must be a time you will challenge the status quo. That everybody must not be comfortable with. There must be a time you will stand out, whether people like it or not. And I think that would have dotted the history of Senator Abaribe. It's a history that is dotted with firm conviction on issues, whether the crowd goes the same way with him or against him. He will stand his ground, he will make his point, he will push his point, and he will defend his point. My brother, I wish to be like you. Let me also say that I'm privileged to be here today. I have not read the book. When I came in, the former governor of Imo State was speaking. He did say he had not read the book. I have not read the book. But I know that if I read the book and read through the stories of the story of Senator Abaribe told by Senator Abaribe, it will make an interesting read. It will be an inspiration to many, more particularly for the younger ones who are coming up. There is something I see in a man that attracts me and endears me to that man. And that is actually my admiration for Senator Abaribe, which many would not know. Your ability to take decisions. Not what you have, not what you open your mouth to say, but the decisions you make and how you stand to the end on those decisions. If there is anything I know Senator Abaribe about, and if there is anything I want to see in the book, is how he has navigated through his public career, the decisions he had made at various points that were not convenient and comfortable with many, and he stood on those decisions to the end. I know that today people think that politics is about, your ability to move to this side or ability to swerve. But Senator Abaribe, I want to read your book, the history of your life told by yourself. It will inspire me, it will encourage me, and it will make me more be like you. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to invite the special guest, His Excellency Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu, Governor of Abia State, to please give his own message.
I want to hide behind the comments of the former Senate President to say that an attempt to do a protocol list here will fail me because I can't even recognize the people that are in this room. But I know that Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe and his dear wife, they are here, and permit me to also use the former governor of Anambra State to reach all former governors that are here. It will be comfortable for me to hide behind Ochendo to reach all distinguished senators that are here. And my big brother, Professor Patu, told me, through him, permit me to reach other very, very distinguished personalities that have graced this occasion. I share in the joy of today's event because I understand the importance of history in the development of a people and a nation. I'm happy that we are trying in Nigeria now to return history to the curriculum of our secondary school education system. Yes, if Senator Abaribe fails to tell his story, like somebody said earlier, by the time others tell the story, he will not be able to recognize himself anymore. But in this book, though I have not seen or read it, I think that the caption points to something, and that is the tenacity and never die spirit that Abba exudes, represents and reflects. And that encapsulates the personality of distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe. Abba does not bother about taking a fall because Abba is sure that it will rise all the time it falls. And Abba is not intimidated by anything, figure, size, whatever. That is why we are better traders than the Lebanese, and we produce everything that China can produce. These are some of the things I think one can glean from the book. I am particularly happy also, and I am very proud of his accomplishments, especially on the score of this book, because I've been trying to write a book since the past 7 years, and a 10-chapter book, I'm still in chapter number 7. But it will shock you that the book is in biochemistry because that is what I understand more than anything else. Someday I pray and hope that I'll be like him by the time my book is ready. Finally, I want to recommend that every person in this room should please get hold of this book, go through it and read it, and push it to as far as you can, because he has kept all of us guessing. For me, I'm looking at the resilience and the can-do spirit of the Aba people as what is going to be reflected in that book. Others say that it's going to be a deep study in how to be a deputy governor and how to be a governor, a good governor to your deputy. So all of these are perhaps aspects of the various lessons we are all bound to learn. I want to end my speech by volunteering for the first time. For those who will think that the man coming behind the microphone to speak as governor of Abia State is a drunkard. Permit me to say that I don't drink at all, and I don't begrudge those who drink. In other places, even countries that have less problems, they discuss big issues of security, big issues of economic development, big issues of infrastructural development. They don't talk about what people do and what people do not do. And for us leaders, it is a calling. If you are called to lead, you are also called to be a mentor to the young ones. And what you say, how you carry yourself, and the things you say at the times you say them, speaks a lot about how serious you are as a person. That will be the size of my response. And I will end by borrowing what Chinua Achebe said in his book. If a madman picks your cloth while you're in the bedroom and takes off, and you go after him naked, nobody will know who is mad after all. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I would like to invite the special guest of honor, being represented by Senator Professor Borofe Sajai, to also give his message.
Mr. Chairman of the occasion, I would like to stand under the protocol authored by the former Senate President, Dr. Ayim. I want to use this opportunity to apologize on behalf of the Senate President. I still believe that he may show up before the end of this program. Because I know how close he is to Senator Abaribe, and in our leadership meetings, I know how they throw jabs at one another. I'm sure he would like to be here today. And let me congratulate Senator Abaribe on the launch of this book. Like many other people, I have not read it. But one thing I'm likely to see in the book, if that there'll be a list of companies in Aba, and all of them ending with international. So you will see Chinedu & Co. International, Odumegu & Co. International. And of course, if you see the products of the Aba people, you'll be proud as a Nigerian. They will compete with anything coming from China. So I think the title international is very apt. And one thing I know about Senator Abaribe, what caught my attention first was when he was the chairman of Senate Committee on Communication. And I always refer to him as the voice of the Senate. And he did us very, very proud. The other thing is his passion for Made in Aba. He's so passionate about it. He talks about it everywhere. So I'm not surprised that he's writing a book on Made in Aba. I want to say that Senator Abaribe is somebody I have respect for, high respect for. Just as the former Senate President said, he's a man that you can trust. He will speak his mind on issues without any sentiment. I knew him when he was on the other side. I know him when he's on this side. And I respect him very much. I have not had anybody said anything about donation, so I will not, open that door. But I'm sure that being our respected colleagues and somebody whom we hold in very high esteem, every senator will want to have a copy of this book. And so when that decision is taken, it will be communicated to Senator Abaribe. One thing again is that when I came into Senate and I was told that Senator Abaribe was the former deputy governor, I found it difficult to believe. The reason is that his stomach is so flat. His stomach is flat, and he carries it away with humility. So I said, well, I don't know. Maybe Abba didn't do him very well. So my brother, once again, I want to congratulate you. We admire you, and we continue to learn from your humility and integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We would like to recognize the presence of Barrister Chibike Nwokuku, SAN, a very good friend of the distinguished, and Senator Chris Ayang of Imo State. It is time for us to dive into the book. I would like to invite Professor Pat Otomi, who wrote the foreword of the book, to give us his own view of the book.
Your Excellencies, distinguished senators, honorable members of the House, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Unlike just about everybody else who has spoken, I have read the book. But I prepared remarks on the citizen in public life that is broad, relating to the man. Senator Boroface almost stole my thunder, because you see, the central thing that the author tried to do was to make good a desire to be a big man. And most of you are convinced that he's a big man, but I say he is not a big man. Senator Boroface made my point, stole my thunder, when he made the point that his stomach is flat. Big men don't have flat stomachs. So, author, you have some ways to travel. You want to be a big man. But very, very seriously, the book speaks to the challenge of nation building from how character is formed in a person. And I think that this is something that we should pay particular attention to. I like to think of Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe as representing the citizen in public life. And why is it important to look at the citizen in public life? It's because if you go back to the Greeks and how they see people in society, they have a broad categorization. At the bottom of society are people who think just of themselves. They care only for themselves. Their world is scoped around themselves. Me, myself, and I. And those kinds of people, the Greek philosophers referred to as idiots. It was not meant to be an insult as we use the word idiot. It just meant a limited human being, just limited to themselves. Further up the hierarchy are people who are comfortable with people who share kinship with them, people they know. And these people are generally called tribesmen, tribes. It seems somehow we're lost in the world of tribes today in Nigeria, but it's not a Nigerian peculiarity. Even America has descended into tribalism. In fact, I'd like to make a point of the fact that American scholars, the ethnocentric ones particularly, used to refer to us back in those days as warring tribes. But what we saw in the last couple of months of the Trump administration was a degeneration to tribalism. And that disposition has been brilliantly captured by a Harvard professor called Joshua Green, who runs the Center for Moral Cognition at Harvard. And Joshua Green's book essentially focuses on this challenge of what he calls moral tribes, as he looks at the problem of reason and emotion and the gap between us and them. Our country is presently swallowed by an us and them view of the world. The visions are steep. We have become tribalists, worse than was the case many years ago. I like to tell people, as a 9-year-old, I traveled from Guzo in what is today's Zamfara State to Onitsha, unsupervised, alone. I got in a train from Guzo, got to Kaduna, changed trains, got to Enugu, got on a bus, and got to Onitsha to take the entrance exam into a secondary school. And I returned to Guzo. My parents did not worry, because they thought I would be okay. Today, if a 24-year-old man is going from Lagos to Abuja to do youth corps, his mother follows. That is the tragedy of what it is to become tribesmen. So in this descent, or we can ascend from tribesmen to the next level, and that level is the citizen. The citizen who looks at our common humanity, who looks at the common good, who is focused on how to advance the common good of all. In very clear ways, to me, Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe is one of the few politicians from the Southeast who is truly a citizen in public life. And I speak truth to power always. And I like to give us an example, and there's a paradox in this example I want to give. In 1999, Ojuzo Kalu was elected governor of Abia State. And the elders, the intellectual leaders of Abia, had a reception at the Golden Gate Hotel in Lagos to welcome their incoming governor. Professor Joy Ruku, Professor Yuyu Uche were amongst those who organized that. And we got to the event, and everybody was hailing and hailing and hailing, and I got very upset. Of course, it reached my turn to speak. And I turned to Oji, and I used your name, unfortunately, not meaning you. I said, Eyi, if you get home here and misbehave, you will hear from me. And when the deputy governor things were going on, he heard from me. And this is how citizens are supposed to engage the state, public officials. Because we have not built up citizens, there's a gulf between those who are in public life and the Nigerian people, and it has not helped us to develop. Because people in public life separate themselves from the people. Enyinnaya Abaribe continually returns to the people and speaks for the people. And I think that this makes him a unique citizen in public life. I'm being told time is up. I don't come from Lagos to Abuja to speak for 1 minute. So I'm going to take 3 more minutes. Not a lot. Just 3 more minutes. I think that is important for us when we're dealing with these matters. The way that society has evolved and democracy has evolved. One of these great scholars and philosophers of democracy and modernity is a German called Jürgen Habermas. And Jürgen Habermas makes the point that that's the center of modernity and democracy is rational public conversation. In our country, we are not managing to have rational public conversation. We just trade insults. And this has not enabled us to articulate a path forward for our country. So when Senator Abaribe asked the question, why was yesterday better than today? It's because we are not having rational public conversation. And an example that confuses me, and pardon me because I'm a simple person, I'm a simpleton in some manner of speaking. We're told that there's insecurity in the country, and we should grab these people and challenge them. After all, they have only 3 bullets or so in their guns. I say, well, that's fine. For years, I've been saying to the private sector in the Southeast and the South-South that they should organize security networks to defend their economic interests. You can have an agriculture ranger defense league to protect your farms. I have lost 2 farms, devastated completely. I've said to the industrialists, create industrial parks that you can invest in and create security networks to protect the parks. And then I hear that some people have created one in the Southeast and is being attacked. And I ask myself, where is the confusion? Where is the rationality in this kind of conversation? And so I say our country is challenged, and I'll close here. It's challenged in many ways, but more importantly, it's challenged by the collapse of character in public life. There's a secondary school in Owerri whose anthem I got to know many years ago, and adopted because it was so beautiful. Government Secondary School Owerri. Work hard, play hard. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. And my favorite example that I give of this is Donald Trump. Until he became president, I used the video that he used to teach at the Lagos Business School for many years. Trump was coming out of the subway in New York and saw a homeless man just across the street and says, my goodness, that guy is worth more than me. At least he's worth zero. I am worth less than zero. Trump had just gone bankrupt. A few years later, he was back a billionaire. And he went bankrupt again and again. So when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. And you go to a brilliant man who took Apple to where it is, Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs was dying, had all the money in the world, but could not stop the onrush of death in early life. But when character is lost, all is lost. The crisis of our country is a crisis of a loss of character. I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Bola Nagode, the DG of NAPTIM. Quickly, I would like to call on Senator Umar Aisauri, National Secretary, PDP, representing the National Chairman, to please quickly give us a message.
I don't know where to start. Well, I think what I would say, I will observe all protocols. This is I think the book launch is for the legislature, because I can see distinguished senators and honorable members. The national chairman of the PDP is supposed to be here, but unfortunately, he said we should come here because it's if it's a ceremony for the senators and members of the House of Reps. We have democratic and political esprit de corps. In my language, they say, kowa ya san daɗin inuwar gemu bai kai ya makogaro ba. Meaning, whoever enjoys the shade of the beard is not of the throat. The throat enjoys the shade of the beard much more than any. Therefore, PDP is enjoying Senator Abaribe. Senator Abaribe is very controversial. That's a fact. Senate is the defense of the defenseless and the protector of those who are in political danger. We in the PDP are very proud of him. He protects the PDP anywhere, anytime, anyhow. We'll not say much because it is not time for us to be talking now, because this is going to be a book launch. And I can see there are people that if I talk now, they'll feel offended. The Minister of Health is here. I would not like to talk about what's happening. But I'll say, distinguished Senator Abaribe, continue doing what you are doing. Very soon you'll be the majority leader, not minority leader. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to quickly call on Senator Olorunnibe Mamora, the Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Health, to also quickly give us a message.
Thank you very much. Permit me to just say, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Well, my good friend, Senator Sori, who just spoke before me, he said, Senator Abaribe, I look forward to seeing you as majority leader. I don't know what you expect me to say. All I will say is that we'll wait and see. But having said that, I'm very excited to be here. Senator Abaribe, congratulations. And through you to your wife, your dear wife. Senator Abaribe is my friend, my colleague. We were together in the Senate, even though he came in after me in 2007. And of course, it would interest you to know that he is also my neighbor. He is one man who speaks from the conviction of his conscience. And he leaves no one in doubt as to where he belongs on an issue. He's a man that does not waver when it comes to standing by what he believes in. He's a man of strength. It takes a man of strength to do the kind of things that he does. A few times I will call him. I will say, hey, be careful. You are giving us too much of punches. He will say, Mahmoud, now you teach us now. I said, no, I didn't teach you that one. But seriously, I cannot agree less with those who have said that it's good to write your own story. When you leave it for some other people, the tendency is for adulteration to come in. And I'm happy that we are celebrating you today. And I made it a point of duty that I must be here to celebrate you because you deserve to be celebrated. Particularly when you are still alive. When we can still see you, we can feel you. Let it be on record that you're doing what you need to do, not for personal reasons, for the good of us all. Senator Abaribe, I say once again, congratulations. And we will remain what we are, good friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to invite Mr. Segun Adeniyi, Chairman This Day Editorial Board, to give a book review.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Senator Abaribe said he wanted to be a big man. And everybody was saying that he is already a big man. But fortunately for me, I was seated by his wife. So when they said he is now a big man, Prof said, without a big stomach. But Madam said, without money. I mean, when Senator Abaribe got to me that he wants me to review his book, I knew that he was going to celebrate his birthday. When politicians write book, it's to celebrate birthdays. But mostly it's when they are either 50 or 60. And then I saw the title, Made in Aba. I said, this man must be very audacious. The Aba that some of us know, we all know that in Nigeria, Nigerians don't like to buy local things. So we are used to buying things from abroad. So when
you talk about made in Aba, I mean, there is a feeling that you're not buying something that is original. And there's a story to that. I remember a few years ago, it was Bishop Cook who told the story. A man left his family and traveled abroad to a far country. He was there after a few years. He wrote his mom that he had found a lady that he wants to marry. And the lady is from that country. After a few more months, he said he had already married. Then one day, he called his mom that my wife just delivered a bouncing baby boy. So the whole time the mom was celebrating, everybody was celebrating. And then on the 8th day, the mother decided to invite people over for get together. I mean, we'll name, if you can do your name in there, we'll do our name in here. And as they were having the ceremony, she got a call from the son. What happened? Said the boy just died. The mother said, hey, and they warned me that the thing where they produce for that country, they last. But Senator Abaribe is a made in Aba original. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dispense with protocols on a day such as this. We have only known each other from a distance and mostly by reputation. But when Senator Abaribe asked me to review his biography, I did not hesitate. I have followed Senator Abaribe's political career for 2 decades, from his days as an embattled deputy governor in Abia State to his current sojourn in the Senate, where he has become one of the most respected voices. I have always admired his courage of conviction, as well as his ability to put his finger on the flaws and follies of the nation. So it is no surprise that Made in Aba, a life of coincidences, goes beyond his personal story. It also serves as a mirror with which we can view Nigeria. Representing Abia South Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Abaribe is without doubt a household name across Nigeria, a distinguished senator in the truest sense of that most abused turn of phrase in our country today. The quality of his contributions to plenary debates is exceptional. Even when you do not agree with him, and on some issues, I don't, you cannot question the clarity of his thought and his abiding faith in a country that works for everyone. That perhaps explains why this book is so significant, and I've read it. Made in Aba reflects not only the personal struggles of Abaribe, it captures, even if only in brief, critical aspects of Nigerian history. In the main, it is a catalog of coincidences that have helped to shape the life and career of a brilliant and enigmatic politician. Divided into 10 chapters, Made in Aba begins with the account of Abaribe's birth into an average family and his formative years in the rustic town that holds a special place in the hearts of many Igbo people. Instructively, at age 5, when his peers dreamt of being doctors, lawyers, engineers, and pilots, Abaribe was asked what he would like to be in future. He replied simply that he wanted to be a big man. Even as a child, Abaribe knew that doctors, lawyers, and all those professionals work for big men. With the crowd of eminent personalities here today, it is evident that his dream has been realized. But he actually attained that status a long time ago as a manager in SCOA. After any distinction, the highest class in the West African Examination Council results in 1974, Abaribe was offered admission into one of the nation's foremost universities, right in his backyard, the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Shortly before resumption, he saw an advertisement by the University of Benin calling for fresh students in the new Department of Economics, the same discipline to which he had been admitted by UNN. Out of a sense of adventure, or perhaps just a rebel, Abaribe went to Benin, submitted his application, and was immediately offered both admission and a scholarship. That speaks to a Nigeria where what you know is more important than who you know. But why that promise has been circumscribed, it is not the issue for today. After earning a master's degree in economics, Abaribe was recruited by the neighboring Bendel State University, Ekoma, that had just been established by the Second Republic governor, Ambrose Ali. He had been enticed to the university with the promise of scholarship to study abroad that would fully prepare him for life in academia. But things did not turn out that way. Abaribe did not get the scholarship, which the institution chose to award only to sons of the soil. Also a typical Nigerian story we have to overlook for today. With that disappointment, Abaribe's excitement with academia began to wane. He responded to an advertisement for a job in Lagos, and after a process that included a test and interview, he was employed. When Abaribe left Ekoma for Lagos, he also abandoned the doctorate degree program he had almost concluded at the University of Benin. He joined the corporate world as a manager at SCOA, where his exploits were also remarkable. It was from there that fate, what he termed coincidence, propelled him into politics. Abaribe had contested for a House of Representatives seat under the transition program of the late General Sani Abacha and failed. When Abacha died, and there was a reset in the political transition by General Absalami Abubakar, Abaribe wanted to contest again for the same seat, but he ended up being smooth-talked into accepting the position of Abia State gubernatorial running mate in the 1999 election that ushered in the People's Democratic Party. The man who did the smooth talking based on the code calculation of Abia's geo-ethnic configuration is none other than Chief Orji Uzokalu, who took advantage of Abaribe's apparent political naivety. I laughed out loud when I read Abaribe's account of how he was hoodwinked into believing he was going to run the Abia administration as a technocrat, while the governor would merely provide the political gravitas. Such naivety. Meanwhile, as an insider who was a high-ranking public official at the state level, before becoming a high-ranking federal lawmaker, Abaribe is in a position to see the nakedness of Nigeria. And in many areas of this book, he gives readers interesting glimpses. He recounts and confirms the remarkably reckless manner in which government operates in our country, the idleness, the unnecessary oath of loyalty demanded not to serve the people, but to massage some fragile egos, the arrogance of power, and perhaps even worse, the rumor-mongering tradition that has been elevated almost to the level of a constitutional order. Incidentally, the inspiration for Made in Aba arose from an experience in year 2000, while preparing for the burial of his father. Abaribe discovered mementos and documents that told compelling stories that he and his siblings had no inkling of. While their father must have shared fragments from his life at different times, as Abaribe recalled, he never mentioned receiving medals in Burma as a soldier during the Second World War, or that he had an intermediate certificate in accounting by correspondence from a London school in 1944. The more Abaribe discovered things he never knew about his father, the more he wondered why the man never documented the drudgery and pains that must have confronted him for posterity. With that, Abaribe resolved that he was going to document his own story. Abaribe's account of his days as deputy governor in Abia State is quite revealing. Deputy governors, Nigerians have been conditioned to believe, are mere spare tires. His own situation was worse. He served in a state where the Oga at the top demanded almost as an article of faith that the subordinates crawl on the ground and lose their dignity in order to receive their entitlement. Ironically, as it most often happens in such instances, things that ought to be done for the progress of the people are left undone. In the 1960s, for instance, as the author noted, Aba, the commercial capital of the state, like similar cities across the country, had pipe-on water and a fairly good supply of electricity. But now he asks, why was modern living possible back then and near impossible now? With rich Igbo idioms and interesting anecdotes, Abaribe makes his story compelling by weaving in commentaries, and there are many lessons to take from the narrative. During the Second Republic, for instance, his father supported the Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe-led Nigerian People's Party, while his mother was a sympathizer of the National Party of Nigeria, which produced Alhaji Shehu Shagari as president. That speaks to tolerance and accommodation, virtues to which Abaribe subscribes. Abaribe deplores the notion of going into politics as a profession without any other daytime job, and he explains why. As is to be expected of an Igbo man of his generation, there are also accounts of the Civil War from the eyes of the young boy he then was. But perhaps the most interesting aspects of the book are chapters 6 and 7, which deal with his foray into politics, how he ended up as the Abia State Deputy Governor, and what followed thereafter. In the two chapters, Abaribe offers real glimpses into public service in Nigeria, how politics is, for most of the practitioners, not about public service, but rather about the pursuit of personal interest. From his Lagos to Umuahia Chisco bus night ride in 1988 with Chief Orji Kalu, where they had an interesting conversation about contesting on a Kalu Abaribe ticket, to the 1999 gubernatorial election and the drama of the swearing-in day, discerning readers can see how hollow our politics is and how easily clever politicians can overpower the system. In flowing prose, Abaribe painted a pathetic picture of Abia under Orji Kalu, a period when many young people from the state were made to worship, not only on the altar erected by the governor, but also the more powerful one, in which Mother Excellency was the deity. As Abaribe succinctly put it, Kalu and his mother became two gods. As a student of power who followed events in the state at that period, I always marveled at how Abia coped with a strong man like Kalu in charge, yes, sharing the limelight with an overbearing mother whose word was also law. Abaribe sheds light on how both the governor and Mother Excellency were clever in ensuring that neither encroached on the other's sphere of influence, as they, and I quote, they tossed people back and forth between them like ping-pong balls. For 8 years, the tag team of Kalu and his mother held Abia State by the jugular. Abaribe provides insight on how they were able to do it. And he was not only a witness to the machinations, he was also a victim. Within a period of less than 4 years that he spent as deputy governor, Abaribe faced 3 impeachment proceedings that were authored by the governor and for which the charges were mostly ridiculous. On the first occasion in November 1999, the House of Assembly failed to convict Abaribe because Kalu could not secure the required number. On the second occasion, a year later, the proceedings, according to Abaribe's account, were supervised directly by Mother Excellency, who had reportedly boasted that the first attempt failed because she was out of town. At the end, she also failed because the decisive vote in the House of Assembly was both for and against Abaribe. In one of those it can only happen in Nigerian moments, a member whose vote turned out to be decisive wrote both yes and no, and with that, Abaribe survived, but only just. Ostracized from all state functions, Abaribe remained deputy governor only in name. However, when all interventions by political leaders, including President Olusegun Obasanjo, Governor Adamu Buasu of Bauchi State, and the late Chief Anthony Anini failed, Abaribe on 7th March 2003 decided to resign from office. But neither the governor nor Mother Excellency would allow Abaribe to leave office on his terms. There was a public announcement on Abia State Radio that day that Abaribe had been impeached. In the 2 chapters titled Swimming Deep End Among Sharks and One Term, 3 Impeachments, Abaribe laid bare some of the bizarre happenings in Abia State between 1999 and 2003 when he left office as deputy governor. Kalu, in Abaribe's book, will promise one position to no fewer than 6 persons and will play all of them against one another with no guarantee that any will be offered the job at the end of the day. But Abaribe does not sound bitter. In fact, he somehow exonerates both Kalu and his mother from most of the shenanigans to which the people subjected themselves at that period in Abia State. After all, as a former American First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, surmised, nobody can make you inferior without your consent. In Made in Aba, Abaribe also reveals some of the dark aspects of politics in Nigeria. He narrates how he was made to swear before a prophet who, after reading verses from the Bible, insisted on Igbandu, a pact or ritual oath of loyalty, not to the public whose interests were to be served, but to the Godfather, in this case, Oji Kalu. It is indeed interesting that both Kalu and the man he used to bully are now in the upper legislative chambers as principal officers. I will surely love to be a fly on the wall at such meetings involving the duo. Maybe we will hear from Kalu very soon. Before I take my seat, let me state that Made in Aba is more than an account of the failures of government in Umuahia and Abuja. It is also a tribute to the enterprising character of Indigo. Even their most implacable foes will consider that Igbo people are hard workers, an attribute that is perhaps traceable to their republican nature. In modern times, as the author noted, many Igbo sons and daughters have continuously featured at the top, be it in commerce, education, and all other spheres, home and abroad. Indeed, by all measures of success in Nigeria today, Indigo have done remarkably well for themselves. But then, Abaribe asked, and these are his exact words, given all the advantages that we as Indigo have in Nigeria, why the clamor by our youth and others for a separate state of Biafra? While he speaks to the mismanagement of post-Civil War issues, Abaribe locates the current problem in the Freudian slip by President Muhammadu Buhari shortly after assuming office in 2015, that those who gave him 5% of the votes in the election that brought him to power should not expect the same attention and patronage as those who gave him 97% of the votes. That the distribution of opportunities in the past 6 years has followed that formula to the disadvantage of Igbo people is what the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its sympathizers use as excuse for their campaign, according to Abaribe. But this, Abaribe also argues, is a temporary problem, since President Buhari will not be in power forever, using another Igbo adage to explain his reasoning. 100 years is not the same as forever. In the last chapter, where the author indulged himself in self-praise, he reminds us that Igbos continue to carry scars and a deep memory from Nigeria's struggles to create an equitable country. They have traversed a diverse country and are to be found settled all over Nigeria. In the face of prevailing circumstances, where there's a constant cry of marginalization, the author, like the former Ohanese President, Chief Nyanwodo, wisely counseled that Indigo should negotiate their place in a restructured Nigeria, where power is devolved to the federating units. He pokes holes in the clamor for succession by IPOB and the manner the operatives demonize respective Igbo citizens who disagree with their separatist agenda. In all, this is one of the few books written by a Nigerian politician that I've enjoyed. I have many in my study that I could not read beyond the first 2 pages. Abaribe is a good record keeper. The documents splashed in the book help to enrich his narrative. Despite a few typographical errors here and there, it's been a pleasure reading through the 241 pages and accompanying appendices of 80 pages. But this is an incomplete book. There is nothing about Abaribe's experience in the Senate where he has spent the past 14 years. Abaribe is one of the few lawmakers in Abuja today who must know where all the legislative dead bodies are buried. Given his candor, I don't want to input that Abaribe left out those details because he is observing the Nigerian table manners of don't talk while eating. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by stating that this is a fascinating book. I wholeheartedly recommend it for all those who seek a better understanding of our country and its politics. As Dr. Chidi Amuta stated in one of the two forewords, Abaribe has managed to rise above the narrow personal undertaking of just his life story to reflect on what he considers the Nigerian ideal. And that is precisely why this book is important. In the end, Made in Aba reminds us of the consequences of the choices not made, roads not taken, and the injustices that define the character of the Nigerian state, for which we are all paying a price. The sad reality is that this is the heavy price we did not have to pay at all. Thank you very much for listening. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir, for the book review. I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Farouk Lawan, Chairman, House Committee on Education. Please, can we give me a round of applause? Well, you didn't write it here, no? Apologize, you didn't write it here. Former Chairman, House Committee on Education. I would also like to recognize the presence of Alhaji Yahya Abubakar and Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu, former Minister of Health. I would like to recognize the presence of Jennifer Oga, representing distinguished Senator Abba Moro. I would like to invite the chairman of today's event, His Excellency Peter Obi, to handle the presentation of the book as well as the cutting of the cake.
Well, I think it's simple. Let me invite His Excellency, the host governor and governor of Abia State, and the man that brought all of us here and his dear wife, and all that are gathered here. But before we do that, you know, today is Abaribe's birthday. So I think we have to at least stand up and sing happy birthday to him. Then we'll go down and start doing that. Because we don't celebrate birthdays these days very easily. I will cut the cake with it. Okay. He wants us to do it when we are cutting the cake. Okay, he wants us to be cutting the cake and be singing that. So we'll unveil the book and then we'll go on the side of cutting the cake. donations are being collected quietly and discreetly. There's no open launching. It is being done quietly and discreetly. So you can do whatever you can do to support. Thank you.
Pat, you go come Abuja, I know what's everything.
Please, may we all have our seats. I would like to invite Mazi Godson Azu for his own book launch. Please, may we all be seated. The books are available for sale outside the auditorium and within and at the other corner.
Mr. Chips. Mr. Chips.
I want to buy this book.
Mr. Chips.
It's
So thank you, everyone. Thank you once more for joining us this afternoon. We have come to the end of this book launch. The book launch is done. For those of you who are asking questions where you will get this book, the book is on Amazon.com. The book is also on Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk. That is, you can have it if you are in the diaspora. Those of you also in Nigeria who want to know where you will get the book, you can also get the book from okadabook.com. So I think those in the Zoom meeting, we have shared the link where you can get that book, okadabooks.com. You can just type in Made in Aba, then you will see that book and you can grab yourself a copy. Thank you very much for joining us. It has been a very wonderful event. And once more, join me here with Njenje Media TV to say a happy 66th birthday to the distinguished Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, the one we wish to and we always refer to as Mmagha Ndị Igbo, the one that speaks truth to power. On that note, I will say thank you very much once more. My name remains Mazi Ezoke. Please have a blessed day and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, everybody.